Beloved, no matter what season you are in right now, whether it is a season of struggle, waiting, or uncertainty, know this truth: it will not end in defeat, but in glory. Every challenge you face, every tear you have cried, and every silent prayer whispered has been seen. God does not allow seasons to remain forever. What feels like delay is often preparation, and what seems like silence is often His greatest work behind the scenes. You may feel overlooked, but heaven has already scheduled your breakthrough. You may feel weak, but His strength is being perfected in you. The night will not last forever. Dawn is coming. And when this season closes, you will see His hand so clearly that you will know it was never your strength, but His glory guiding you all along. So walk with faith. Trust the unseen hand. Speak as though the blessing has already manifested. For the ending of this season will not carry shame, fear, or loss, but the undeniable evidence of God's glory resting over your life. Every season in life, no matter how heavy or how joyful, carries within it an appointed time. Nothing stays the same forever. Just as nature shifts from the chill of winter to the warmth of spring, our lives also move through cycles that are constantly changing. When you are in a difficult season, it is easy to believe that it will last forever, that the pain will never ease, and that the darkness will never lift. But this is an illusion created by the weight of the moment. The truth is that God has woven into the fabric of life a rhythm of change, a divine assurance that no season remains unchanged. When you look back at your own life, you can see moments when you thought you would never make it through. Times when the storm felt endless, when disappointment seemed permanent, when the heartbreak felt unbearable. Yet here you are. Those seasons did not last. They came and they went, and they left you stronger, wiser, and more aware of your own resilience. This is the evidence that every season, no matter how overwhelming it feels, has an expiration date. The power of remembering this truth is that it gives hope in the middle of the struggle. When the pressure feels unbearable, you can remind yourself that you are only passing through, not settling here. You are not meant to build a home in the valley of sorrow or pitch your tent in the field of hardship. You are journeying forward. And just as surely as the night makes way for the morning, your situation is preparing to shift. Even seasons of abundance and joy are temporary, and that too is a reminder not to take them for granted. Celebrate the blessings you hold today, because they are a gift, a moment in time that you will one day look back on with gratitude. Seasons of joy teach us to rejoice, while seasons of challenge teach us to endure. Both are necessary. Both are fleeting. So when you find yourself in a season that feels like it has lasted too long, hold on to the truth that it is only temporary. The winds will change, the storm will pass, and you will step into a new chapter. The temporary nature of every season is God's reminder that He is still moving, still working, and still guiding your life toward greater purpose. Delay is one of the most difficult experiences for the human heart because it presses against our desire for quick answers and immediate breakthroughs. When doors do not open as quickly as we hope, when prayers seem unanswered, and when dreams appear far from reach, it can feel like abandonment or failure. Yet what often feels like delay is not denial, but divine preparation. There are moments when life holds us still, not because we are forgotten, but because we are being shaped for what lies ahead. The timing of our desires may not match the timing of God's plan, and so He withholds certain things until we are fully ready to carry them. Think of a seed buried deep in the soil. For weeks, perhaps months, nothing seems to happen. To the human eye, the silence looks like inactivity. Yet beneath the surface, life is forming, roots are growing, and strength is being established, so that when the seed finally breaks through the ground, it can withstand the storms and grow into something strong and lasting. In the same way, delay is often the soil of preparation. What you cannot see with your natural eyes is that growth is taking place in silence. Your character is being refined, your patience is being stretched, and your faith is being strengthened for the weight of the blessing you are about to carry. If everything you prayed for arrived instantly, it would not require faith, and it might not even serve you well. Some doors opening too soon could crush you rather than lift you, because the foundation of strength and wisdom would not yet be in place. Delay creates endurance, and endurance produces maturity. It is in waiting that you learn to trust without proof, to hope without evidence, and to walk forward even when the path is hidden. When you begin to see delay not as wasted time, but as divine construction, your heart shifts from frustration to expectation. Instead of asking, "Why hasn't it happened yet?" you begin to ask, "What is being built within me during this time?" This perspective transforms waiting into preparation and preparation into destiny. The season of delay is often the very tool that equips you for the season of fulfillment, ensuring that when the breakthrough arrives, you are not only ready to receive it, but also strong enough to sustain it. Silence is often the most unsettling response we can receive when we are seeking direction, comfort, or answers. In moments of struggle or uncertainty, we long to hear a clear word, a sign, or some evidence that God is near. Yet there are seasons when heaven seems quiet, and it is in those moments that faith is tested most deeply. Silence does not mean absence, and stillness does not mean inactivity. God often does his greatest work in the unseen, moving pieces together beyond the reach of our understanding, preparing outcomes that are far greater than what we could orchestrate on our own. When you consider the way a seed grows, there is a season of hidden development before any visible sign of life appears. The roots form in secret, anchoring the plant, ensuring stability before it rises above the surface. In the same way, when God is silent, he is often laying the foundation for something that cannot yet be revealed. He is arranging details, aligning people, and creating opportunities that will only be revealed when the time is right. What appears to us as divine silence is, in reality, divine strategy. There are times when words would only distract us from the deeper lesson being taught. Silence forces us to trust, not in what we hear, but in what we believe. It is in the quiet spaces that faith matures, because we learn to depend not on constant confirmation, but on the unshakable truth that God is faithful, even when unseen. The silence is not punishment, it is invitation, an invitation to lean in closer, to strengthen our spirit, and to grow in patience and trust. Looking back, many people realize that the moments they thought were empty or forgotten were the very times when God was building the strongest chapters of their story. The silence shaped resilience, the waiting forged endurance, and the hidden work produced outcomes that only became clear in hindsight. So when heaven feels quiet, remember that God is not distant. He is closer than ever, carefully weaving the threads of your future, ensuring that every piece comes together in perfect timing. What feels like silence is often his way of saying, "Trust me, I am working even now." Weakness is something most people try to hide, avoid, or overcome quickly, but there is a deeper truth about it that carries great power. In the moments when you feel most fragile, incapable, or broken, You are actually positioned to experience strength in a way that is not your own. Human strength has limits, but divine strength knows no boundaries. When you reach the end of yourself, you stand at the very threshold where God's power begins to flow most clearly. What feels like failure or insufficiency is often the very space where His grace shines the brightest. Life has a way of confronting us with challenges that reveal our limitations. Whether it is an illness, a setback, or a battle we cannot win with our own resources, these moments strip away the illusion of control. They remind us that we are not self-sufficient, and they open the door for us to depend on something greater. Weakness is not the end, it is an invitation. It teaches humility, dependence, and surrender. And in that surrender, strength rises. Not the kind that comes from sheer willpower, but the kind that comes from knowing you are upheld by a force far greater than yourself. It is in weakness that compassion is birthed, because you begin to understand the struggles of others. It is in weakness that endurance grows, because you learn to walk forward, even when you feel like you cannot. It is in weakness that faith deepens, because you discover that even when your own strength is gone, you are still carried. Every weakness becomes a doorway through which God's power can be revealed, transforming what looked like defeat into testimony. Instead of despising weakness, you can begin to see it as a gift. It strips away pride and self-reliance, making room for a deeper kind of strength, one that cannot be shaken by circumstances. When you realize that your story is not about how strong you are, but about how strong God is within you, weakness no longer feels like shame. It becomes a platform for glory. What once made you feel small becomes the very reason others see the greatness of the one sustaining you. In your weakness, His strength is perfected, and through your brokenness, His power is revealed. Faith has a language, and it speaks before the evidence appears. It declares victory when circumstances still look uncertain and proclaims abundance when there seems to be lack. Speaking ahead is not about ignoring reality, but about aligning your words with a higher truth than what your eyes can see. The power of faith is that it calls things that are not as though they already exist, trusting that what is spoken in alignment with God's promises will eventually manifest in time. There is a creative force in words. Every declaration you make plants a seed in your future. When you speak fear, doubt, and negativity, you cultivate an atmosphere that limits growth. But when you speak hope, life, and promise, you set the stage for transformation. Faith does not wait until the blessing arrives to rejoice. It rejoices in advance, knowing that the unseen is already in motion. Just as a farmer celebrates planting season with the expectation of harvest, faith-filled words celebrate the answer long before it arrives. The challenge is that the natural mind resists speaking what it cannot see. It feels safer to only describe reality as it is, to acknowledge lack, pain, or struggle without daring to speak beyond it. Yet faith asks us to rise above sight and embrace vision. It requires courage to declare healing while still feeling weak, to proclaim peace while storms rage, and to affirm provision when the account is still empty. This kind of speech is not denial, it is prophecy. It is shaping tomorrow with the conviction that God's word is stronger than present circumstances. When you consistently let faith speak ahead, your mind begins to shift, your heart gains strength, and your actions align with what you believe. Fear loses its grip because your words refuse to give it authority. Doubt loses power because your declarations create momentum toward the promise. Speaking in faith prepares the atmosphere for breakthrough, because your words echo the unseen reality that is already waiting to unfold. Every time you open your mouth, you have the choice to speak either the problem or the promise. Faith chooses the promise, and in doing so, it pulls the future into the present. What you dare to declare today sets the stage for the testimony you will live tomorrow. Every season of testing, every moment of waiting, and every battle you endure is leading toward a greater purpose. And that purpose is the revelation of glory. Nothing in life is wasted. The pain, the struggles, the detours, and even the disappointments are all being woven together into a story that will not end in defeat. The outcome of your journey is not shame, not despair, and not loss. It is glory. This glory is not something you create for yourself. It is the evidence of God's hand upon your life. The undeniable sign that what was meant for harm has been turned for good. When you look back at seasons that once seemed unbearable, you often see how they produced growth and transformation that nothing else could have brought. What once felt like breaking actually became building. What looked like the end became the foundation for a new beginning. Glory is the light that shines after the storm has passed, the beauty that rises from the ashes, the strength that emerges from weakness. It is the testimony that says, I went through the fire, but I was not consumed. I walked through the waters, but I did not drown. I came out different, stronger, and covered by grace. Glory is not always about the external blessings others can see, though those too will come. It is also about the inner change, the quiet strength, and the unshakable faith that grows within you. It is the peace that cannot be explained, the joy that comes in the morning, and the resilience that proves you are not the same as before. The true outcome of every trial is that your life begins to reflect a brilliance that points beyond yourself, a glory that makes it clear that you were sustained by something greater. Even in moments when it feels like nothing good could possibly emerge from what you are going through, there is a promise at work. The end of the story will be better than the beginning. No matter how dark the chapter, the conclusion is light. No matter how heavy the burden, the ending is breakthrough. Glory is the outcome because every path, no matter how winding, is leading you toward the place where the fingerprints of God will be visible in your life. And when that moment comes, all doubt will fade, and it will be clear that every step was carrying you toward this undeniable truth. The outcome of your season is glory. So as you walk through this season, hold your head high and let faith anchor your heart. The trials you face are not the end of your story. They are the pathway to transformation. Every delay is shaping you. Every silence is working for you. Every weakness is revealing strength. And every declaration of faith is building your future. Remember this: seasons do not last forever, but God's promises do. And when this season closes, it will not close in defeat. It will not close in emptiness. It will end with His glory shining over your life, undeniable and unshakable. Walk forward with confidence, because your story is destined to finish in victory.